It's Monday the 3rd of November 2025. This is The Macro, where we connect the dots in global finance to the cryptos, the companies, and the currencies that are shaping the financial system. My name's Lewis Jackson. Welcome back to The Macro. Tonight, the UK flips the switch on digital ID, AI agents start to handle compliance, and the company Accenture starts moving towards rewiring the financial system with AI. And all of that feeds into the inevitable portfolio, a portfolio consisting only of the cryptos and the companies set to see the most amount of gains in this new financial system. We'll talk about that at the end of today's show. The UK government has officially switched on its national identity system for business filings. From the 18th of November 2025, every director and person of significant control in a company must verify their identity through gov.uk one login or an approved agent. The company's house team says over 1 million verifications have already been completed, and non-verified accounts will soon be unable to file legal documentation. It's the first time in the UK digital ID has become mandatory for financial record keeping and corporate access. And I've got to say, this is absolutely terrifying as someone who owns a company in the UK and also is against digital ID. I'm being forced into a corner here to get a digital ID so that my business can even continue functioning. If I don't get the digital ID, I no longer have a business in the UK. And that's why when you look at the statistics of millionaires leaving a given country, the UK tops that list. They're doing everything they can to get the people with the money or with the potential for money, those are the people with businesses, out of the country as fast as possible. Digital ID becoming mandatory for business owners is a surefire way to lose even more millionaires. But regardless of how I feel about this situation, the inevitable portfolio doesn't care. The portfolio that we are building is positioning itself for all this inevitable stuff that's happening, all of the stuff that's out of our control. There are companies and there are cryptos that will benefit from all of this, whether you like it or not. It's better to have those assets than not, right? All of that will be at the end of the episode. In other news, a compliance company in the US called Avalara has launched what it calls the world's first Agentic AI workforce for tax and compliance. The new system, known as Avi, will deploy autonomous software agents to file filings, e-invoicing, and regulatory reporting under human supervision. The company says that these agents can start, run, and complete tasks independently, turning compliance from a manual process into a continuous automated flow. I've been saying this for quite some time. AI agents will be operating the financial system, much like a lot of the different systems around the world, not just the financial one, but the decision making for which technologies to use for the banks. Also, which laws are we in accordance to and which ones aren't we in accordance to? How can we engage with this client in a way that matches our brand tone or meets the compliance and regulations, so we're doing everything properly? This was usually all done through a legal team. Soon enough, it will all be done by AI agents. Again, these AI agents and the financial system intertwine in ways that represent themselves in companies and cryptos, and these need to become fundamental elements of our portfolios moving forward. We're going to cover that at the end of the episode. And a company you might have heard of before, Accenture, has taken a strategic stake in Liza, which is a US startup that builds auditable AI agents for enterprise workflows. The investment extends Accenture's partnership program and focuses on deploying agentic AI across the banking and insurance operations, from monitoring risk all the way to client onboarding. Neither party has disclosed terms, but Accenture says that the goal is to build a safe, trustworthy AI agent for regulated industries. And this is huge because Accenture doesn't just follow trends. It only moves when there is significant justification to do so. But Liza are becoming a company that is integrating with these large companies to set them up with agentic AI. Agentic AI is one of those inevitable things that will happen, and it will happen with a higher impact in the financial and insurance worlds. This is a complete nervous system, decision-making system that's being built purely on agentic AI. And if you're invested in crypto, you're invested in stocks, and you don't think this is relevant, you are massively misguided. So what does this all add up to? You've got digital IDs is basically coming into play, especially for businesses in the UK. AI is executing financial tasks and actually helping these companies move to the next stage of the financial system. You got identity, AI, and compliance all rolled into one today. So how does that impact the inevitable portfolio? So when we look at the inevitable portfolio from the digital identity perspective, everything remains the same as it was before. You've got Okta, Thales Group, and Microsoft, who are basically pulling the strings and orchestrating digital identity. And that's from the company side. You can actually be involved in these companies by buying their stocks and shares. And then one of the cryptos that I'm finding most interesting right now is Matic. They have what's called Polygon ID. As new companies come across my desk and we get deeper into this research, I'm not just going to add different companies and cryptos for the first time I see them straight into the portfolio. No. What they're going to do is undergo a process of a point scoring system. If we keep hearing the same names of the same companies that are involved in these things, we will slowly transition them from outside the portfolio into a waiting room and then finally into the portfolio. This portfolio is to be highly considerate. We're going to think things through very well before we add them to the portfolio. I want this portfolio to serve as a very long-term, kind of 25-year portfolio of inevitable assets that over the next 25 years will outperform any other assets that you have. So when we move into the AI and compliance world, some of them remain the same, but we now have a new company that's being moved into the pending bucket. So we're going to watch out for more news on this company. The ones that will continue to exist are Palantir, Nvidia, and IBM. Those will remain. The new one that we're paying attention to now is Accenture. It's moved from the outside bucket into the pending bucket. And if we get a few more notices and a few more bits of news that come in from different angles about Accenture, we'll graduate Accenture into the main portfolio. But for now, it's in our pending file. We're also going to keep an eye on Avalara, but it is a private company right now. And so investing in that isn't really a viable option. But sometimes you can benefit from a company that you can't invest in by investing in other companies that surround it. We'll touch base on that in a future episode. And in terms of the infrastructure and interoperability plays that we talk about, nothing has changed here. We're going to hold steady on the portfolio. Nothing's changed. That would be Ethereum, Quant, and Avalanche as our base crypto assets in that space. I do have a full view of the entire portfolio that we look at right now. You can see that in a previous episode. I'm also working on something right now to allow you to see that entire portfolio in one place, but bear with me for a future episode on that. If this is your first time or you're just enjoying the macro, please share this episode with someone that you know who you think might enjoy it. The real power of the macro will compound over time. If you keep watching each episode, you'll be at the forefront, at the cutting edge of everything we talk about. And the inevitable portfolio is updating in real time. Subscribe to this channel to continue to see the macro every time a new episode comes out. Stay emotionless. I'll see you in the next episode of the macro.
Why we talk about the macro. I don't know anyone who does what you do.
What's the point in making all that money if you don't have the time to spend it?
You gotta get me on the show.